Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome back to our morning walk. Fancy and I are out here. There's the pretty girl. We got the proper leash on her today. No more of that foo-foo pink stuff. Out here walking. Looks like it's gonna storm on us again. It's supposed to. You know, as I'm walking up here, I look at this corn. On that side of the road, on that side of the road. How beautiful is that? Can't help but think. I got a cousin who's got kids that are pretty close to Angela in age. I'm the youngest, second youngest out of 23 grandkids on my dad's side. So there's a pretty wide age range there. Anyway, so these kids, I call them kids, they're in their 30s or 40s now, but anyway, they grew up in the city and they liked coming out to our house, except they wouldn't do it in the summertime and the fall. Because where we lived there in Missouri, there was corn on either side of the highway, and it would get tall like that, and all they could think of was children of the corn, and so they wouldn't come out and visit in the summer or the fall. Those funny fears that people have, man, just blow my mind sometimes. Oh, look at that. See, that's an even better picture. Look at that. Out there, all the way to that other ridge. Anyway, so I was thinking about a conversation that we had in Bible study recently. And we were discussing different topics, and the topic of complaining came up. And to paraphrase what the Bible says, you know, you shouldn't complain, because you should always be thankful of the gifts that God's given you. And then, you know, you've got the story of Job and other stories that kind of drive that point home. Well, I've been thinking about it, and I said this during the Bible study. You know, if you know any service members or veterans, as a group, we complain more than any other group out there. And it's not really, I don't know, Fancy's found a smell. Gotta find a smell. It's been like this all morning long because the wind's blowing and she's just being bombarded by smells. Okay, come on. So anyway, service members, as far as complaints go, first off, let's backtrack. Let's take a step back first. And I agree. We should not be complaining. It can really negatively affect your mental health and your morale and other people's morale. But with that said, we're all flawed human beings, and service members and vets, I should say, we have raised complaining to an art form. Man, I have heard some of the most epic complaints happen when I was in the military and at the VFW and listened to other vets. Kind of like sharks. You know, they say if a shark stops swimming, it's gonna die. Well, service members and vets, man, if they're not complaining, there's something wrong. And, you know, it's kind of, I say that jokingly, but it's the truth. If you know any service members or veterans, two things are going to hold true with them. Number one, they're going to have a dark sense of humor, especially those guys that have been in combat. They're going to have a very dark sense of humor. And number two, they're going to complain. And if you ever notice that they are not complaining, or they are not making just really dark, depressing jokes, chances are there's something wrong with them, and you probably ought to look into them and make sure that they don't become a statistic. All right, and sometimes it's just a matter of just asking them how they are, you know. And if they say, "Oh, I'm fine," press the issue. Oh, sorry, we have to stop and make a potty break. Anyway, back to the topic. So make sure you follow up with them and make sure that everything's okay with them, because that that 22 a day statistic is real, and we need to reach out there, especially if you're a veteran. Reach out to your brothers, keep in touch with them, make sure that everything's okay with them and they're doing good, because we don't want to lose any more than we have to, right? We're losing them to old age left and right, and we don't need to be losing them to any other purposes, or causes, I should say. All right. Now, complaining. Okay, there's two types of complaining. Let's just start right there. The first type is self-centered, narcissistic whining, and there's a lot of that going around these days. These people that they identify these problems that affect them, and they've got to let everybody else around them know, and everybody else around them has to change in order to fix the problem that they see. Then you've got the complaining that falls into the realm of constructive criticism. So, and normally constructive criticism is of people, but we also talk about processes and stuff like that. And this type of complaining is meant to identify a problem, bring it to people's attention, and fix it. Now, if you're one of those people that are out there just complaining and identifying problems, and you're not providing a solution, oh my goodness, this dog this morning. If you're not providing a solution, then you're as much part of the problem as the thing you're complaining about. All right? And I say that, just remember, every time I say something like that and I point a finger, I got three of them pointing back at me. So I'm not sitting here saying that I don't do this, because I do it all the time, and I try not to. We always want to be able to provide a solution, and as we're providing that solution, it has to do three things. Number one, has to be easily understandable. All right, as you're providing a solution, you need to be able to explain to people in a clear and concise manner what you're proposing. Number two, it has to be doable. We have to come up with solutions that are actionable. We can't come up with these fanciful solutions like, I don't know, global warming. There's an evil billionaire that at one point was talking about making a giant solar sail to block out the sun. You know, in reality, yeah, that's not actionable. You know, and if you're that rich and that evil that you can make that actionable, then we got a problem. But there's other things. Case in point, I was on sea duty, and we were practicing taking down ships at sea as part of the blockade in Iraq. Well, I was part of the designated marksman teams, and we had to provide suppressive fire from helicopters to these ships. Well, we as a group had never done that before, and we did not get any guidance from Headquarters Marine Corps or the security battalion or anything. So we had to come up with ways to do this, and we came up with some very fanciful ways to provide this stuff. And at the end of the day, our lieutenant was like, "Look, we're just going to go super simple. The solution is to do it the most simple and easiest way, and that's the way we're going to do it." So he made the call, and we had a very actionable solution to the problem. We were able to provide suppressive fire from helicopters on ships at sea. The third thing that your solution needs to do is it needs to be replicatable. You need to be able to repeat it. You need to be able to explain it to somebody, show them if you have to, and they should be able to repeat it. And if your solution is not repeatable, then it's a one-off, and it really doesn't do us any good. You know, it might take care of that problem one time, but if that problem comes up again and you can't repeat it, then you're right back to square one. So I'm gonna I'm going to say at this point in the conversation, yes, we should not be complaining. We should be grateful for what God's given us. If we find a problem and we got to complain, make sure that you're providing a solution. And if you're providing a solution, make sure it fulfills those 3 criteria and everything's good to go. We can take care of these problems. All right, so here's some solutions. Off-grid cooking. And it's been hot and muggy. And Angela's been doing a lot of cooking recently, doing her private chef thing and getting ready for festivals and all that. Off-grid cooking. Number 1, get yourself a propane stove, like an event stove or a camp griddle. I'm sure you've seen them whenever you see the videos of our vendor tent. But get one of these and set it up outside and cook outside. Don't cook inside the house. Don't heat the house up. If you're like us and we don't run the central air, you know, the heat becomes a real problem. Number 2, find other off-grid cooking solutions. We've got 2 of them in the links down below. We've got the RockPot, which is a literally a space age solution to cooking on a rock. And it works. There's a learning curve, and if you're curious what that learning curve is, you should contact Angela, because she went all the way up that curve to figure out how to use it properly. Another solution that we've got is the sun oven, which to my understanding is back in stock, or should be here shortly. So there's off-grid solutions, and again, the links to these things are down below. And I'm not telling you these things. I'm not telling you about these just to get you to buy it because we're affiliates. I'm telling you about them because they are fantastic solutions. We've been using them. We've been using the sun oven for over a decade now, and the RockPot, you know, we just found out about it this spring, as a matter of fact. We use it. You know, and there's other solutions. You can always cook on the grill your food outside. You know, I don't know about you guys, if you've ever had campfire eggs. Man, that's some good stuff. So, you know, set yourself up a grill or a fire pit and do it outside. Put solutions. Put ideas down below in the comments. I want to know what you think about the solutions I provided, and then give us some of your own. If you got something else, you got any other ideas on how to beat the heat with some off-grid cooking. You know, that we don't want to heat up our houses because it's going to cost money, and it becomes really uncomfortable, right? Let's see. That's about it for today. We're almost home. Going through the woods. It's been a nice walk. I'm glad you guys came. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and think about subscribing too, please. We'd really like you to have you join us on these morning walks on our journey towards a life done free. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Do all the things that make the algorithm happy for YouTube. And most importantly, man, I want you guys to go out and live a life done free today. Thanks, Milo.